Chapter 9. "Of course we saw you," Bertrand said. "I saw you when they first put you in the van."
"From then on, it was just a matter of figuring out when to rescue you," Sonia said.
We were all on the dunes by the ocean, having a bit of a celebration and recounting the rescue. Bertrand and Yolanda and Angus and Sonia were all there, as were an assortment of other birds and mammals, all telling the story over and over, laughing about Twisty and Pamela and Rainbow running around wailing and flailing.
"Of all the rescues over the years," Yolanda said, "that was probably my favorite."
"You took your time," I said.
"You know we wouldn't have let them take you away in that van," Yolanda said.
"What I'm trying to figure out," Bertrand said, "is how that Twisty guy managed to get you on a leash. You're the fastest guy I know, on land at least."
I let that comment stand. It's a personal matter for me whether or not I could beat a gull like Bertrand in a contest of pure speed. His velocity is aided by gravity, by falling through the sky, really, whereas I have to grab at the earth for every bit of propulsion. I decided we'd settle this another time.
"So how did you get caught?" Yolanda asked me, her huge head tilted inquisitively.
"Well, it was a rectangle, actually," I said, and went on to explain how I'd been staring at a strange and magical rectangle at some kind of show near the Cathedral of Flowers.
"Like a photo?"
Yolanda asked. "Like when the humans hold up the little screen and mimic the world?"
"That's a camera," Bertrand said. "A camera."
Of all of us, Bertrand knows the most about human things and is always sure to remind us. "No," I said, "this wasn't like anything that actually exists, I don't think. It wasn't a copy of actual life. It was like a crazy combination of actual things and made-up things, and everything stuck together in this way that made no sense but seemed like the answer to a bunch of questions I'd felt in my bones." One of the seagulls started laughing. The others joined in, cackling in their irritating way.
"Shh," Bertrand told them. "Don't act like twits."
He turned to me.
"I'm sorry you went through this. We'll make sure it never happens again."
After our beach celebration, I went to see the bison, which I had intended to do anyway. I was nervous about the encounter, given that I would have to report my brief captivity, my close escape, and the embarrassing way I'd been abducted in the first place. I feared that they would lose faith in me as the eyes. They counted on me for information about the park, and if I could become so easily distracted, mesmerized to the point of becoming vulnerable to being leashed, would they still see me as a reliable envoy?
"We're just glad that you're safe," Freya said. "You want to spend the night here?"
I was touched by this gesture. The bison were very particular about their lair, and they never wanted to bring undue attention to their way of life. If I were found in their lair, for example, the parks people would come in and inspect things and probably change things too. They would certainly, mend the hole in the fence that allowed me to enter for our nightly meetings. "No thanks," I said. "I'm fine."
"Well, maybe you need to run," Freya said.
Oh, Freya knows me. She was so right. I needed to run, so I said goodnight to the bison and slipped through the hole in the fence and ran out into the park, luxuriating in my re-found freedom. It was so good to run again. Oh, I had no idea how deeply the day of being leashed had affected me. I ran and ran, but kept feeling a tightening around my neck. I feared that at any moment the leash would tighten and I would be yanked back into that life. Oh, you cannot imagine. So I ran harder. I smelled the night. I heard the trees. I named every gust of wind as I sped faster, hurtling through the park with joyous fury. Every breath I took was left miles behind me, hours behind me. Oh, I had never run so fast and so long. I ran through the night, circling the park, never tiring. I ran until I saw the first lavender light of day, and I greeted the sun with a happy grin and wild eyes, and it was only then that my muscles told me that it was time to stop and rest.
I found my way to my hollow, and by the time I'd turned and turned within and was ready to sleep, the sky was pale and sighing. God is the sun, I thought. Clouds are her messengers. Rain is only rain. And gratefully, I slept.